Good?
Yeah. Am I okay?
Yeah.
Are we recording already?
Yeah, I started it. Why not?
Yeah, why
Maybe
not?
there'll be a blooper you like or something.
Well, I'm like...
This one isn't really a blooper type show. I have
It's
put
not.
a little bit of, like...
Small bloopers.
Small bloopers, but it's not that important to me that we have bloopers for this.
Yeah, we don't need bloopers. This is a serious show.
Yeah, we're serious.
All right.
All right.
All right, everyone. welcome. You want to do a real opening?
Yeah.
Okay, go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. This is Nathan on Shuffle, and we've got another episode of Classic Albums 101 for you.
Hello.
We've got Jana here, and this is the show where we basically just talk about classic albums throughout history. It's a way for me to kind of introduce my wife to full albums, because she usually doesn't listen to full-length albums.
I just listen to singles and the radio and pop hits and things like that, so... Very rarely do I listen to a full album, especially all these older ones that we've been listening to.
Yeah.
These are songs, I've maybe heard the hits, maybe, and then I've never heard any of the rest of the songs on the album, so
yeah,
it's been interesting.
But I thought it was cool, because even before we started this, you've been getting into classic rock, you have a lot of classic rock playlists and things, so I thought it would be fun to kind of delve back and see the full context of the album of all these songs that you have been liking. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll see. And for me, it's kind of I've been purchasing these albums on vinyl, and so for me, it's kind of a way to build up my vinyl collection of all these classic albums and to listen to them for the first time on vinyl. So for me, it's a little bit of a new listen too. So we're both kind of exploring it together and just giving our early thoughts. We're not experts. We're not
No, we're so not experts. This is Classic Albums 101. So this is
the basic level.
Basic level, freshman level. People who probably shouldn't be in college, but are just going because their parents are making them.
Yeah, so the idea is we're just, trying to give our impressions in a fun way of just how we feel about these albums, just
as a new listener, a more experienced listener, but we're sharing music. So
we're sharing music, and our format that we've kind of landed on with the show is somewhat of an introduction of the album in general. We then talk about our 3 favorite songs and perhaps our least favorite song.
Yeah.
And then we give kind of a conclusion of overall, did we like the album, did we not, and where might it rank with the other classic albums we've done so far. So as an introduction, so this is an album by David Bowie. I should pull out what we're doing. It's kind of what we do. The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars.
And the Spiders from Mars. David Bowie, The Rise and Fall of Ziggy Stardust and the Spiders from Mars.
Quite a title, right?
My personal opinion is that it's too long of a title, but,
Okay. Well, you could just call it Ziggy Stardust for short, right?
Yeah, that's what everybody seems to call it.
Yeah,
right?
that's
Ziggy
kind of
Stardust,
how I refer to it.
From my excellent research that I have done.
Yeah. So of course, David Bowie is a huge artist that, megastar, British artist, English musician, and singer-songwriter, all of that.
I did read that for this album cover, they took the picture in black and white and then they colorized it.
Oh, yeah.
I thought that was fascinating.
That is cool. You can
Gives it that.
I can kind of see that now.
That retro type of colorized look that never looks quite right, but it's cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this album came out in
you have that back.
1972. So you can kind of fit it into its era. And it's loosely a concept album, kind of. It sounds like, from reading about kind of the history of the album, that they kind of wrote these songs and had these kind of figured out before they really figured out the concept. And then kind of reworked them a little bit to fit them more into the concept and make it almost this concept album or even rock opera, as it were, of Ziggy Stardust. So... And once again, we talked a little bit about Tommy, which is a rock opera, and a little bit about the story. I'll only touch on the story a little bit, but, it's basically about this, alien, bisexual, rock star person called Ziggy Stardust who comes to the planet during to save it. Yeah, it's like this apocalyptic
Earth's gonna die
event is happening, and so he kind of comes to save it and has like these like fans kind of rise up, but then his ego kind of overtakes him and like
takes a
dive towards the end, kind of, which not too dissimilar to Tommy, if I remember right.
Yeah, he
kind of had that happen too. He kind of rose up as like a big figure and then like had a big downfall towards the end.
Took a dive.
So that's kind of I guess that's where they get the rise and fall, right, in the title, that it's him coming to rise to power almost and then falling towards the end because of that, too much power maybe sometimes can go to your head, I guess. And that's kind of how it ends. So it's a really cool album. It sounds like I really like the album before this one. Hunky Dory is the name of the prior album. And it sounds like these songs were kind of written around the same time, kind of done around the same sessions. A notable, you even kind of brought it to my attention, but a notable prog connection is that Rick Wakeman was part of the group that worked on these tracks. He was mostly, I think, on Hunky Dory and on the tracks there, kind of as part of David Bowie's kind of backing band. And he was actually offered to be part of the Spiders from Mars,
That's
David
the
Bowie's
backing
band. But then he declined because he was also offered the position in Yes at the same time. And he decided to go to be with Yes instead. Because I think the decision came down to, he thought with Yes he could contribute more to the songwriting and be more of an integral member, where this would be just him playing all of David Bowie's music, which would be great, but wouldn't allow him to kind of give his own personal take on things and put his own stamp into the music. So I believe from the credits that I think he's only playing here on one track.
Do you know which
from
track?
What I saw, that he played harpsichord on It Ain't Easy.
Well, okay.
So, but most of the tracks he's on are on the previous album. So I think that's kind of the summary of Rick Wakeman and his history with David Bowie. And so, yeah, I think it's a fun album with a lot of different styles and things going on in the mix. So let's get into our 3 songs. Do you have a song?
Speaking of styles, one of them that I really liked that was because of its style, and it reminded me of Elton John's music because of all the piano music. And so because I thought I'm talking about the song Lady Stardust.
Okay.
And so I think I read that information incorrectly, that Rick Wakeman was playing on all the songs on this, and so this one had like heavy piano in it, and I'm like, oh, that's cool, that's somebody I know, that's that's somebody that like I react to in all the Yes songs. And then like later on I'm like, oh, he wasn't in those. But I liked that song Lady Stardust for all its piano music, and it just sounded like Elton John's music. It was like it fit like with some of his music, and so I just really enjoyed that one. So
that's cool. Yeah. I mean, I'm pretty sure, because according to my research, it says the piano's done by Mick Ronson, who also does a lot of the electric guitar and other things. So I don't think that's played by Rick Wakeman. But yeah, that's a cool track. I agree. It has a lot of cool piano in it, and it has kind of... I agree with that Elton John vibe. I think that's a good comparison there.
I like when you agree with me, because it makes me feel like I'm on the right track, because so many times on any of these shows that we do, I'm like so close to being on the wrong track and not knowing. I mean, I never know what I'm talking about, but like actually like appearing like I don't know what I'm talking about.
Well, the thing about music is it's very subjective.
Yeah.
And you're allowed to feel how you feel about it.
Everybody can have their own opinion about it.
And if you hear something in it that you think it sounds like, that's valid because you heard it, It's, even if other people didn't really, they're like, I don't really hear Elton John, but that doesn't mean your opinion isn't valid. Yeah.
That's true.
You make a connection that maybe certain people don't. That's fine.
All right. Song for you.
So my choice, I love Moon Age Daydream is one that I've really...
Moon Age Daydream.
Yeah.
Why do you like that one?
Because it's really cool. Once again, there's some piano in it that I like, and some heavier guitar riffs. There's even some kind of strings at the end. I almost feel like it kind of moves into this almost dreamy psychedelic vibe towards the end. There's kind of a Beatles style to it a little bit, and I think there's kind of a Beatles influence through a lot of this.
Yes.
Yeah, and it kind of leans towards what develops into like a power pop, or I guess you can kind of call this like glam rock or something like that. But it's just, this is a classic. I think I always bring this into the show, but I think it was covered by Neil Morse and Mike Portnoy and Randy George, so I like it for that reason. But it's just, it sounds really cool and brings that kind of Beatles-esque vibe, and I just think it's really catchy and fun, and has a lot of different influences as well. Almost kind of leans towards some heavier guitar as well, like leaning into a heavier rock too. So I think it has a lot of cool influences.
So the next one that I liked was Hang On to Yourself. And I just liked the vibe of it, and that it just felt like rock and roll.
Yeah.
You know?
Definitely.
So
I think it's a balance of like almost 50s style, like rock and roll, rockabilly kind of thing is what I was hearing. But also kind of almost leaning towards like an influence of what's to come in, like almost punk rock, if that makes sense. Like, like some of the more punk rock, early era punk rock stuff. Yeah. It's more short and punchy and just like almost simple rock music, but really fun. And, that's the kind of things I hear in it.
All right. What's your number 2?
All right. So my number 2, I was going to go with Starman.
That's my number 3. Oh, shh. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, you can piggyback off my thoughts, I guess. So this was kind of the big like single that came out for this album. So it's probably one of the more famous songs from the album, and probably one you even knew coming into it, because I think it's featured on a couple different movies and things, which you'll probably mention in a minute, but I'll wait. I'll let you do that.
I can only think of maybe 2.
But yeah, it's a really catchy, cool song with a really fun, like spacey kind of vibe. I mean, it's called Starman, and I feel that in it, and I think that's why it's probably used in a lot of sci-fi. Some great acoustic guitar strumming and kind of a fun, almost bouncy vibe to it.
The end of it, where it's just like that do 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 do.
Sure.
We may not keep that.
I think we should.
But like that whole end part where there's all these instruments coming in, and it's just this great, like, you just want to like jive to it, and like I don't know, I just love it.
That's cool.
Yeah, but this song I like a lot. I thought that it's my number 3 pick, and it's for me it's the best song on the album, and I'm not sure if it's just because that's the one I'm familiar with. But I just think it's the best song on the album. I like it. I like it. Except like the first two measures where it starts out with like this dissonance, but then immediately resolves it, but then does it again, and it does that a couple times throughout the song. Like when it first played, I was like, okay, all right. Oh, it's back. Oh, okay. So that's like how I feel with like, but that's why like the resolution and like of dissonance is like so important, because it brings peace to the chaos. And so and that was just very short lived in like, the span of like two measures. But
I know exactly what you're
talking about. I like this just because I'm familiar with it. The song is placed in some of my favorite movies, like it's in the Martian.
Yeah,
and I'm guessing it might be in a Guardians of the Galaxy movie, but I'm not actually sure.
I think it might be too. Yeah.
Okay. It seems like it would be in there.
It could be.
With like Kurt Russell coming by, or like I don't know. People flying by in spaceships.
Sure.
A song called Starman is the perfect soundtrack for that. But yeah, but it's in The Martian too, and so and I love The Martian.
Yeah.
Both the movie and the book. You guys should read the book. It's good.
Yeah, it becomes like a movie and book show sometimes. That's your reference for a lot of stuff.
It's how I connect a lot of things. Like I have to like connect things to things that I'm familiar with to, I don't know, to like make me feel comfortable with it. I don't know if that's like the right way to say it, but it just makes me feel more like, oh yeah, I like that movie, so therefore I must like this song. It's like a weird like connection in my brain.
Yeah.
So
that's cool. Yeah, I think it makes sense that this is one of your favorites.
Yeah.
Like you said, because of part of that familiarity, but I mean, it was a hit because it was a good song.
It's a good song.
That's why everyone liked it so much.
Yeah.
So I think that works.
Yeah. All right. What's your number 3?
So for me, my favorite song on the album is the very last song on the album, and it's called "Rock and Roll Suicide." And so
I was debating whether or not to make that as the one
your least favorite.
But it's okay. I don't think I really have a least favorite. So
yeah. Well, I think it's a classic. I think it's a great closer. I think it has a really cool build up and kind of almost a dramatic flair to the vocals. It's really a great presentation. I love kind of the just sparse drum beats that kind of started out. And it has this kind of throwback kind of soul style to me a little bit with some like horn stabs and some strings building up. I just really love it. I think it's a total classic of the genre and one of David Bowie's best songs to me. I'm sorry, it's one of your least favorites, but I really love it. I think it's really great.
That's good. I we try and pick 3 songs that we like and then maybe one song that we liked less, you know? And I feel like I didn't really have a song on this album that I liked less. Like I thought about like all these songs, like if I have to pick one, like which one would I pick? But like I enjoy them all, so I don't know. I'm copping out and like not picking one. But you have one?
Oh man.
I'll piggyback off of you and say that one. Did I just set you up?
Unless it's like one of my least favorites, one of your favorite choices.
You have to take a dive, huh?
Yeah.
Just like Ziggy Stardust.
I struggle with this too, because and maybe it's a sign that
maybe
we don't need to do least favorites anymore.
It's an option.
It's an optional choice. Because I agree. I think it's a super consistent album. I had a couple choices that I was considering, and then when I reheard the album, I'm like, but those are great. Why would I have that as a least favorite? So I might cop out of this too. If I was to choose some, I don't know if I want to say.
They're all fabulous.
All great. It's a perfect album. Well, it's a really great album.
Yeah, it's a great album.
That kind of leads us maybe to our conclusions.
Yeah.
Where would you really like it?
I did. I liked it a lot.
Yeah. If I'm ranking it amongst the other albums.
Because the other albums, we have Abbey Road, Beatles, we have The Who, Tommy, and we have
Rolling Stones.
Sticky
Fingers.
Sticky Fingers. And I had previously ranked them Abbey Road, Sticky Fingers, Tommy. And I think I would put this as second.
Okay.
So Abbey Road, this Ziggy
Stardust,
and the Spiders from Mars. Too long of a title. And then the
Rise
other
and
two.
Fall of Ziggy Stardust.
See, it's too long. So that's how I would rank it. I would rank it second.
Okay. Well,
I just enjoyed it. Maybe just because I love Starman so much. So I don't know. I just like it.
That's cool. I think that's valid because it's also my second.
Yay!
After Abbey Road. So we have the same top 2.
I feel validated.
No, it's a great album. It's a classic. I mean, that's why I chose it as a classic album. It's super consistent. I think it really showcases David Bowie at his best, like having this great persona and this great vibe and bringing in different influences, but also like really having his own identity that's throughout this whole album. You could tell playing into these songs, oh yeah, that's David Bowie and his style. He's almost like created a new character through this album of who he wants to be. And that's kind of David Bowie throughout his career. He kept reinventing himself and becoming something new. And so this was kind of a reinvention in this album and telling kind of a concept. And I think it really works. And every song's great. Like I said, it's super consistent. I struggle to find a least favorite. I think that's a sign of a really great album, that everything's a favorite or in contention to be a favorite. And it has just several classics from rock history. So I think it deserves to be second. For me, our bottom two are flipped, I think, so we're a little different on that, but pretty close. I think our opinions are lining up pretty well. So
cool.
There we go. That's our album. And now let's introduce what we're doing next time. But first, before I say this, we're probably going to take a little bit of a hiatus before our next classic album. So
there's a lot coming up in the next month or so.
So we're teasing this, but you may not see this for a month and a half or so, I'm guessing. Just because I'm doing a lot of year-end style shows throughout December that I'm focusing on. We're doing a couple of bonus episodes we're planning.
Yeah. And we're taking lots of vacations.
We're taking vacations.
Because it's a holiday.
It's a holiday.
It's my birthday.
It's a birthday. So I just wanted to put that out there so you're not like, oh, where's this next, you might have to wait a bit longer. But it'll be well worth waiting for because this next choice is...
I don't know what it is.
Elton John.
Elton John! Hey, I talked about him today!
Yeah.
Elton John!
Elton John, Goodbye Yellow Brick Road.
Goodbye Yellow Brick Road. Do I know any of these? I know Candle in the Wind. I know Bernie and the Jets. Bernie and the Jets. And I like that, like, I don't know if I could sing it, but it goes, bump, bop, bop, bop. We'll have to cut that out. That was not good at all. Yeah, I like that one a lot.
That's good, yeah. No, I think this is going to be a really fun one. I think you may like a lot of these. At the beginning, there's a lot of, like, kind of the bigger songs, and then later on, it's more of the kind of deeper cuts, but they're good.
This is a long one.
Yeah, it's a double album, so this is another longer one. So,
I like his face right there.
Maybe it's good we get the hiatus to, like, give you extra time to hear a double.
Oh, look at his fancy shoes.
Yeah, it's a cool album cover. It's cool.
Goodbye, Yellow Brick Road.
I love Elton John, so this should be a really good one. And this was going to be, like, one of the first choices. This was kind of what I was planning when we first started. I even told you.
Yeah, I listened to, like, the first 5 songs. And I'm like, I know these songs. And then now looking at all of them, I'm like... No, I don't know these songs.
So yeah, but I decided to kind of restructure it, and because I kind of wanted to give a little bit of a chronological order and threw in a couple extra choices. But now we're finally getting to the one I was planning.
There's a cute teddy bear on it too. I like album art. Can't help it.
So yeah, I think that's good for our show, right? So thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you're enjoying this series. We like to present the next album, so if you're listening along with us, you can listen. You have quite a bit of time for listening to this one, I think, because I'm imagining it'll probably be later in January 2022. Yeah. We'll release that episode, is what I'm planning.
Classic Albums 101.
Next Classic Albums. So please subscribe if you like these shows and want to keep following us and our journey through listening to these classic albums. And please give us any feedback if you have suggestions of classic albums you think we should cover, and if you just want to let us know your thoughts on Ziggy Stardust. And,
what do you think of Ziggy Stardust?
Yeah, what are your top 3 tracks, or what's your general impressions of it? Do you love the album?
Do you have a least favorite song?
Yeah, is there a least favorite, or is that too hard?
I think there are probably people who are way more opinionated than we are, and like, I don't know. If you're like, if you've got a least favorite song, share it.
Sure, why not?
We want to hear what you have to say.
And I'm sure everyone will have probably more information about, like, the background. I always feel like I get some kind of comments of, like, cool behind the scenes stories that I just had never known. So anyways, thank you guys for watching, and hopefully you'll catch us in the next one. So, see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye. Enjoy the music.
Enjoy the music.